Hello, welcome back to this video series in which I've been deconstructing my YouTube setup for you component by component. This is the last video in the series and it's a wrap up of my various online presences. A few quick words about YouTube. We dealt with uploading videos to YouTube and that's obviously the vast majority of it, but you do also need to manage your website. Channel customization is a big deal, so this is where I set up my home page and you can see each of the featured sections here. So for instance, I just noticed today that in my Back on Track songwriting series, I don't have the latest couple in. So if we go into that edit contents, then I can see the list of all of my playlists and I can say, let's add that one and let's add that one. That's that done. I can also create a brand new section for this series itself because it's really quite standalone. I think you get 10 in total, so I've got a couple of spare ones left. So if I create a section out of a single playlist, then I can point at my system setup and then I can choose where this lives. So I can put it, for instance, there. And that's that done. So managing my playlists is kind of fun. Each time I finish a song, I typically tend to make that the featured video for returning subscribers. Now, having made those changes, I need to publish those. So that's that done. Now I can head over to my playlist section. So here you can see all the various playlists that I've created. I do these from within the upload section. The first time you upload a video that doesn't have a playlist, if it's like episode 1 in the season, the series, you can create a playlist there and then, so it's all done dynamically inside the uploads page, but I can manage them all from here. Every now and again I'll forget to add a video to one of these playlists and somebody might say, hang on a minute, episode 4 is missing out of your playlist, I need to go in, click here, add videos, add it to the list. Straightforward enough. In customization we also find basic info. So this is my channel description and you can find my channel URL. And in settings, this is a little bit of a weird one, but you have to go to settings, upload defaults, and this is where my basic blurb is found and all of my various like pre-built tags. So that's a little bit cumbersome to find, just bear that one in mind. Make sure you set this category as well for the kind of stuff that you're interested in, help people to find you. Every time I do any management of my channel, I go and have a look at the comments as well and respond to anything. There's I won't go in for the sake of privacy, but they're sorted by like comments that I haven't responded to, so I can see all of those and I try to do that every day. Just make sure that I'm up to date. If people take the time to give me feedback, then the least I can do is either like their comment or respond to them or whatever. Then I've got my website, so I use Squarespace for my website hosting. It's a great website. There are limitations to it. You get what you're given, and what you're given is great, but if what you want to do isn't in the toolbox of the stuff that you're given, you're kind of screwed. So this is one of the projects. So the website contains the list of my completed songs because I'll upload a link to the final version of the song on YouTube, then the lyrics. So this is the only printed copy anywhere of the lyrics that you can find, and then maybe a comment at the bottom about the song. And it's all like really straightforward stuff. You can edit it and you get these little like balloon things that pop up, and when you click on one of those you can add new like components to it. If I chose some text and then clicked on the link button, I could turn that into a URL. So the site is really intuitive to use. I think it's a pretty great, it's very basic, but it's great at what it does. I have very basic requirements of my website, so I'm perfectly happy with this because it is just click and drag. You don't need to know any like complicated stuff at all, really. There were a few niggles getting up and running, connecting my Google account and getting the email configured properly. That was a bit of hassle, but now that it's up and running, it's really, really straightforward. The YouTube and Twitter are just links, and then started this my favorite songs thing, which basically I'm uploading a song a day to Twitter. So like I did the Aerosmith song today, and it's just an idle fancy. I'm having a whale of a time doing it. I have a massive list of my favourite songs. I've gone through my entire collection over the course of years. This thing has built up, and this is my master list. There are 2,124 songs in my master list, and the nerd that I am, I've got them all categorized. So this is the number of songs per year, and I've even been through all of my Spotify folders, calculated the total length of all the various. I really shouldn't tell people this. So yeah, 1971 is the longest playlist, and this is what I listen to. If I'm like making tea or doing the gardening, and I've got my buds in, then I'm listening to my best of, and it's constantly evolving. I'll regularly go back into Spotify, choose a band, then I'll do a fans also like search and drill off and try to find new stuff, and I'm constantly on the search for new bands. And that's really when the Twitter thing gets some momentum. At the moment, it's literally only just started, nobody gives a damn. But hopefully, I'll start getting people saying, well, if you like this, try this. Please check it out. Head over to my Twitter feed and follow, and then you'll just get one of these pings every day. I want to try and make sure that I do at least, exactly one every day. I've calculated I can get to about 2 years before I have to mention the same band twice. And then finally on my website, I've got, this is where Guitar Tutor lives. So this is my application that's constantly running. There's pretty much never a time that this program isn't running in the background. It's doing something for me, telling me what my scale names are and the notes in the scales and all sorts of various bits and bobs. There's a page on my website where I talk about the application, and you can download it there. And that's really it. I have a very light internet presence. I've got a Facebook account, but I don't use it. I've got a SoundCloud account, which I kind of stopped updating about 6 months ago. I thought, what am I doing this for? My presence, my focus of attention is on YouTube. All of my songs are there, and I didn't see much point in duplicating it on SoundCloud, so I kind of let that go. I think, because I spend so much of my time either writing music. I spent a couple of hours today trying to come up with some melodies for Borderline. So I'm constantly writing music. About half of my time is spent actually just bumming around in Cubase and playing with plugins and doodling away on notes, and I've got to make the videos for the YouTube channel and then edit them and get them uploaded. So I've got a limited amount of time that I can spread myself across these other various interests. And the Twitter thing, the song a day thing on Twitter takes me about 10 minutes each morning, where I'll go through my list and pick the song of the day, and I really enjoy that. That's just a relaxing thing to do with a cup of coffee. But other than that, I'm not really interested in anywhere else. YouTube is where it's at. So I've decided to stay, very narrow, very focused, and not try to do Instagram and Facebook and, any other kind of social media presence, because they all take time to manage. And at the outset, when I first launched the website, I was going to do everything and be a man for all seasons. And I've realised that you've got to be a little bit more focused on that and say, this is what I'm doing right now. But I think I've got my channel to the stage at the moment where it's humming quite comfortably. Everything works. And that was the point at which I thought to myself, right, I need to make a video series talking about all of this, because you could watch this entire series, and I admit there's a fair amount of equipment there, but you can actually get by on a very small subset. You don't need the expensive guitars and the ridiculous number of guitar pedals and the likes of Native Instruments Complete, and the really expensive stuff you don't need. You can get by with a much smaller subset of stuff and get up and running with pretty much what's inside Cubase. If you were going to spend any money on anything, I would say buy Cubase Pro. Do the software properly from the outset, because you get features in Cubase Pro that are just worth it. And that initial investment, I think, is probably the single most important thing you can do. But all of the other stuff, you've heard me talk, eulogize in each of these episodes. I love my EK58, I love my Canon M50. It's got its flaws, but I love it. Each of the things that I've bought are cherished for a different reason, but you can either do them on a very strict budget or completely do without them entirely. So that's totally up to you. But there you go. That's a complete how-to of getting a YouTube channel up and running that's focused primarily on a DAW that uses ASIO drivers. I obviously use Cubase. I can heartily recommend it. Head over to Junkie XL's webpage if you want to see a true professional use Cubase. It is not a toy. Serious film composers use this thing. Hans Zimmer, obviously, probably the world's most famous exponent of Cubase, but sharing that journey with you and holding myself to account and making sure I have to write this music in air quotes in order to, you know, produce the content and make the videos. Before I started this channel 12 months ago, I had never finished a single piece of music. And so in the last 12 months, I think I've finished 10, and that's all thanks to the channel. So a huge thanks to everyone who's subscribed up to now. You know, every single time I get a subscriber notification, it's a little leap of joy. I absolutely love it. And I welcome all of the comments, and I respond to every constructive comment that's made. Will get a response from me. In addition to just holding myself to account, you know, I wanted to have this kind of sense of community of people who share the same kind of passions as me. Stick your comments in the YouTube, and you'll get a response from me. So that's the series finished. You know, in the words of Forrest Gump, that's all I have to say about that. Hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please consider subscribing, hit notifications, and then you'll be sure to catch the rest of my content. Hope to see you there. Thanks a lot.